Hello again, it's Cliff Dixon from UKIP Hillingdon, candidate for Hayes and Harlington. Had a really good day out in Hayes Town today, as you can probably tell from the sunburn on my head, but I also had a very hot and healthy reception from the local residents. The UKIP vote is definitely holding up. A lot of people really happy with what we had to say. But I did have an email earlier on from a friend of mine, and he's considering voting Labour because of their 10 pledges. So let's run through their 10 pledges. Number one, they would increase NHS investment. Well, firstly, it's not costed. UKIP would obviously increase NHS investment, but we would do it by cutting foreign aid, something that I was called disgusting for by the Lib Dems at a meeting on Thursday night. But why do we need more NHS investment? Well, part of the reason is because Labour in government increased the amount of people in administration while cutting the front line and mired the service in debt with PFI. So please don't take it the wrong way, but I don't trust them to do a better job this time. Then they said there'll be no tax rises on anybody earning less than £80,000. Well, it won't be directly in your pay packet, but they'll do you with the garden tax. And I've actually got the figures here, that I'm looking at them now on my computer screen. So if we take an average 3-bedroom house in Hayes, even if it's kind of like an old run-down one, say we're looking at £300,000 that it's worth, which is quite low for a property in this area. If they remove the council tax and replace it with a garden tax, you'll be looking at an extra bill of £3,350 a year. So there are a lot of working class families, bought their houses 15 years ago, they're living in them, they will be slapped with that. So please don't talk to me about no tax rises. We know what is in your manifesto when you look deeper. Then they're talking about the £10 an hour minimum wage. Noble aim. I think people should be paid more. But all you're going to do by putting a £10 an hour minimum wage on is put small and upcoming businesses into debt trying to pay an unacceptable wage bill, and it will cost jobs. You should be doing it the way UKIP propose, which is we will take anybody on the minimum wage out of tax, so that way those people are earning more, but it's not costing those small and growing businesses to pay them extra. So those businesses can go on hiring people, putting them into work, but at the same time it's not crippling them as they grow. Once they get bigger, yeah, fine, but there's a lot of start-up businesses, small and medium enterprises are the backbone of this country. So as a government, you help them, you don't hinder them by putting in a minimum wage, £10 an hour minimum wage. What you do is you take away the tax burden so those companies can employ those people and they've got more money in their pocket. Then we're looking at the 1 million new homes pledge. Well, who's paying for it and who's building them? This coming from the Labour Party that in 13 years under Blair built fewer houses even than Thatcher. Well, we've got a skill shortage in this country. We don't have, if we're going to be building 1 million new homes, we've got to bring people in to do it, which exacerbates the problem. So look at the UKIP policy, which is modular homes, which are easy to put up, cheap to put up and affordable. Because let's face it, those 1 million new homes, one, won't be affordable, and two, with Labour's open door migration policy, it's just going to put the prices up even further. We've seen it already. The 30 hours childcare for 2 to 4 year olds, again, no problem with that. How are you going to pay for it? Tuition fees, well, it was Labour who introduced them in the first place, but let's have a look at how much is that going to cost. The UKIP policy on that: let's remove tuition fees on STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, maths and medicine. Those are the skills that the economy needs, that the country needs, and we basically need to pay for, rather than the 50% of all school leavers going to uni, which is what Labour said, and doing useless degrees that mean they've got no job coming out at the end of it. Again, let's be sensible. I'd like to take tuition fees away from everybody. Hopefully we can do that in the future. We're not in an economic position to do so now, so let's prioritise the skills that we need. 10,000 new police officers. Great idea. Do you know what? UKIP want 20,000, which makes up for the ones that have been cut by the Tories. And again, those 20,000 are fully costed, and unlike under Labour, they won't be held back by political correctness. So, yeah, 10,000 new officers is a start, guys, but we know the way you work. We would double that. We'd bring back the amount of police officers we need, and we would free them from political correctness so they can do their job properly. Then there's the free school meals for all primary school children. Sounds great, doesn't it? Well, I'm a working class kid. My parents used to pay for my school meals when I went to school. But there were people in my class who didn't, because they were genuinely in need. So if you're paying for all school children for those meals, then what you're actually doing is you're subsidising better off children, and you're taking money away from those who are more in need. Let's do this on priority, guys. Come on, don't waste money on people who don't need it. Let's do this the right way. Then we've got protect pension triple lock. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Our elderly people, they paid in, they worked hard. That's what national insurance was for. So I agree with that. But again, according to the Institute of Fiscal Studies, you haven't costed it, UKIP have. And finally, halt Tory hospital closures. Nobody wants hospitals to close. I'm actually campaigning on getting a new one opened in Hillingdon because our one's falling apart. But again, part of the problem why they're having to close the hospitals down, the PFI contracts that Labour put them into means that the hospital trusts are mired in debt. They can't afford to run the hospital services properly because they're paying hugely inflated rates to pay back the loans that were put in on those hospitals. So let's do a deal with the companies who put the PFI contracts in. Let's buy out the PFI at a sensible rate, and then let's get working with our hospitals to get them, to get them running, get them doing what they need to do. Let's take that weight of debt off of them, which was put on them by the Labour Party, and let's let them do what they're there to do, which is get sick people well. So that's the end from me tonight. That's 10 Labour pledges which don't work. Go and have a look at the UKIP policies. They do work. ukip.org. Have a look at the manifesto, because we've got a much clearer and fully costed vision for this country. It will be better for all of us. Labour talk big, they don't cost it, and just look at their record. Thanks and good night.